Children, today I am going to tell you another interesting and informative story. In this story, you will learn how a submarine floats and sinks underwater. This is an amazing technology, which is a marvel of science and engineering. So let's start this story. One day, Araf and Sia were watching a documentary in which a submarine was going deep inside the sea. Sia asked curiously, "Brother, how does this submarine float and sink underwater? Does it work by some magic?" Araf also thought and said, "I don't know either. Come on, let's ask grandfather. He will definitely give us the answer." Both of them immediately went to their grandfather and asked, "Grandfather, how does a submarine float underwater and how does it come up?" Grandfather smiled and said, "It is a very good question, children. A submarine is a machine that can move underwater and can also come up. It is a marvel of science and engineering. Come on, let me explain it to you in an easy way." Grandfather explained, "There is a special part inside the submarine, which is called ballast tank. This tank can keep water and air inside it. The floating and sinking of the submarine is done by this tank. When the submarine has to float on the surface of the water, water is pumped out of the ballast tank and air is filled into it. Air is lighter than water, so the submarine floats up." Grandfather said, "Think, when you put a plastic bottle in water and fill it with air, it floats. A submarine does exactly the same. When the submarine has to go underwater, the ballast tanks are filled with water and air is let out. Water is heavy, so the submarine begins to sink. Now think, if you fill the same plastic bottle with water, it will sink. The ballast tank of a submarine also works in the same way. Once the submarine goes underwater, there are fans, propellers, and motors installed inside it, which help in moving it forward, backward, and in depth." Grandfather said, "There are many parts in a submarine such as ballast tank, to float and sink, propeller, to move forward in water, periscope, for seeing above the surface, oxygen system, to provide breathing to the people inside, sonar systems, for direction and detection of objects underwater." Sia asked, "Grandfather, where are submarines used?" Grandfather said, "Submarines are used in many places such as for ocean security and missions, to study the depth and fauna of the ocean, to measure depth and collect underwater information." Grandfather told some interesting things. A submarine can stay underwater for months, because it has the technology to produce oxygen. The deepest submarine has reached Challenger Deep, which is the deepest part of the world. Special metal is used in submarines, which can withstand the pressure of deep water. Grandfather said, "Think, a submarine is like a big fish. When a fish draws air into itself, it floats up. And when it draws water into itself, it goes deeper. Submarines also do exactly the same. The only difference is that it is not a fish but a wonderful machine made by humans." So, children, from this story, we learned that submarine floats and sinks with the help of ballast tank and propeller. This is a wonderful invention of science, which helps us to understand and protect the underwater world. Next time you hear about submarines, remember this science.